Hi guys, I'm gonna sit tonight just because I'm not feeling very well, which I'm not surprised about. Usually something like this happens when you're getting ready to speak. It's like, okay, I have hot flashes today. I think I'm a little too young to be in menopause, but my voice was scratchy earlier. But anyways, I'm here and I'm really excited to be here. So thank you everyone for being here. I don't know if Maggie did this at the beginning, but who is here for the first time? Because I feel like I see a lot of your faces. Holy cow. Well, welcome you guys. I just want to say thank you for coming. I've been helping Maggie with this for a little while, and she asked me to share, and I was excited. I've been up here introducing and closing and doing stuff like that, but I haven't really, and I've done some teaching, but she asked me to share like a testimony, because we have a wonderful speaker tonight, and I'm just sharing a little part of my story. And it's interesting how nerve-wracking it is when you feel like God is telling you to share stuff that doesn't feel packaged or pretty or wrapped up at all. And that's what I feel like I'm supposed to share with you tonight. So here's a little bit of me opening my heart and my blinds to my life and letting people see in. So I was writing notes about what I was going to share tonight last week, and I was like, I don't know what the title should be, which really, title is not really necessary. I'm just sharing some of my testimony that was really important for me for some reason. And I couldn't think of anything, so I was like, hot mess, kind of getting overdone, and just, all these things. And I just wrote, seriously? Exclamation. Like, that's honestly the word I've been using a lot lately. I've definitely found myself saying, seriously, when am I going to pull myself together? Seriously, when is this hard season going to be over? I'm not sure I can take much more. Seriously, God, there's still more hard. Like, what's going on? And so I've definitely found myself repeating that word, not that kindly or politely, regularly, but it's definitely been where I've been at, and I would say that's where I'm at right now. So I'm not really excited, but I am excited to share, because I just think when we are able to be real and vulnerable in the midst of a mess, I just know God shows up because He's faithful. And so I think it's also easy to share kind of parts of your story after they're finished, and I just feel like I'm literally smack dab in the middle of this hard season, and it's not over. And it's really humbling to talk about, and it's easy to talk about with a handful of friends, but I'm looking around, there's like 100 people here. I'm like, awesome. But that is really where I found myself. And I really didn't realize sleep deprivation and what it can do to a person, like your soul and your spirit and your body. I get the body part. And how much that's just really affected me in every single area of my life. Just to summarize, because the details aren't really necessary and they're not really fun. But I would say for the last, I have a 2-year-old, just over a 2-year-old, 6-year-old, and a 2-year-old, and I would say this last, like his whole life, he's been sick. And it's just been one thing after the next. And so we've just had constant I keep saying to people like, oh, I think we're over the hump. And I'm like, no, we're not. We're not over the hump. This sucks. This is really hard. And so we've had continued financial stress that really hasn't gone away. My husband the last year got a new job, which is great, but I don't know if any husbands of yours have had new jobs recently, or any new job. Like, it just takes a lot of energy and emotion and effort, and that's where he's found himself. And of course, being a team, it affects us and our whole family. He's had to travel a lot more, so I've had my hand at being a single mom for like a couple days, so really it doesn't count. But I was like, oh my gosh, if there's any single mothers in here, I just want to say, like, kudos to you. Like, it is like 3 days and I'm ready to, like, I can't tell you what I'm ready to do, but I'm really excited. I probably shouldn't, because maybe you'd pray for me more. But yeah, it's, I just don't know how people do it, like, on their own, every day in and day out. There's just been family drama, which who doesn't have family drama? There's just been a lot of change and a lot of hard for it feels like a really long time. And so it's really left me depleted and emotionally spent. often feeling kind of out of control, and the word that always comes to me lately is I just feel undone. Like in every aspect of my life, I just kind of feel like undone. And it's interesting because I was going to share that. I was like, man, I don't want, I was like, I don't know if I want to share this because I don't want people like thinking my salvation's at stake, which you can think that, but, or just worried to, it's easy to say that and people make assumptions, and there's a fear to like isolate and keep quiet when you're in the middle of hard. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because I feel like God has taught me two huge, significant things in this hard season of my life. And it's okay to be undone. I've had a lot of anger. Let me just tell you that emotion I've learned to embrace. It's become my friend. I do know some about anger. I'm learning a lot. I know that it's often like the dark emotion. I think people don't want to talk about anger or deal with anger. And I'm learning about how to respond when I'm so tired and so exhausted and keep saying those words, seriously? Seriously. And just feeling like anger. And it's never been an emotion that I've had to deal with to this extent. I would say pre-kids. And I don't know if I don't know if any other mom identifies, and I think maybe we all are, and we're like, oh my God, yes, but don't tell anyone. But I don't know, but I just felt like I was supposed to share that tonight. That I do know one thing I have learned: stuffing is not the answer, and pretending it's not there is not the answer. I know that God meets us in those, and He uses that, and there's a purpose for it. And that's what I'm exploring and discovering with God right now. And so it's been really fun for me to just have episodes of anger and frustration with myself, with my husband, and a lot with my kids, which is really hard. Because I often find myself like, it breaks your heart, Have you ever yelled at your kids? I don't think I'm a yeller, and I've become a yeller, and it's not my favorite. And it's not going to be there forever, but it's where I've been, and I feel like it just feels yucky, and it makes me feel undone. It makes me feel super messy, and like I have zero self-control. I'm like, what person have I become? But just recognizing that it's there and trying to move towards it with the Lord has been really powerful for me. And that's a whole other topic. I'm not going to talk about anger, but I just felt like I was supposed to bring it up. Like, let's not pretend it's not there, and let's acknowledge that there is anger, and there's reason for it, and there's purpose, and it can bring good conclusions. I just know that stuffing and pretending it's not there and trying to pray something away that God is trying to highlight for you to deal with. There's different ways to handle anger that I feel like. I just want to say, for those of you who believe in God and in the church, like I feel like we haven't handled that word well, and it's time to start talking about it. But that's another topic. Another topic. And I would say the most frustrating thing in this season for me is, it's kind of embarrassing, but I just feel sick and tired of saying the same things over and over again to my friends, which is probably my pride and my fear that they're like, seriously, you haven't figured it out yet? I didn't know I was going to say that word so much, but seriously, it works. It's tight. It's my life. But yeah, it's just been really humbling. Where it's like, yep, same, and it's not feeling well. Yep, same, I'm exhausted. Yep, same, haven't been to the gym in 3 months. Yep, same story. And that's been really frustrating and really powerful in my communication with God. Like, really? This is the same. What's happening? Where is the relief? Where are the answers? I know you're there, but this feels really hard. And so, for some of you, maybe, some people might be here that are single, or maybe you don't have kids, or maybe your kids are older and you're in the place where you're sailing through life and it's all good. I don't know where you're at, but I feel like there's something here for everyone. Whether that you're in a hard season and you're frustrated with work, or you're frustrated with relationships, or you're frustrated with answers to prayer that you haven't had answered before. I just want to encourage you with two things that in this season, and there's lots, and this isn't a step. I'm not at 3 steps to this and 4 steps to that person, but I feel like God has really shown me in this season 2 really profound things that I just felt like I was supposed to share tonight in this season. But the truth is, in the midst of crazy and hard, and exhaustion, I'm feeling a sense of peace in the significance of community. I do know the tendency when we're in a hard place is to isolate, and I have definitely found myself in these last couple months since the fall, I think it kind of hit the hardest, isolating, just because it's easy to pull my blinds, like I said, and hang out my yoga pants and just do what I gotta do when I start getting home. And I know that is not the solution. I think there's often fear keeps us there. Fear of people going, why isn't your kid sleeping anymore? Like, hasn't she read all those books? Like, I mean, there's just, you know, why isn't she going to the gym? She knows that will help her and will get her energy and take her, you know, there's just fear of assumptions and people giving you pat answers, which that does happen, and both of those happen, but the reality is isolation is not the answer when we're in that hard season. And can I just say something too really quick again? I just feel like I'm supposed to share this as well. So I'm old to have a 2-year-old, okay, I'm in my 40s. I know why people have 2-year-olds and little ones in their 20s and 30s, okay? That's not my story. I think there's, this is a hard season for me. I mean, I think some people really love a young age and they're so cute and they just, you know, and I'm glad my son is super cute. He really is. He's got this dimple and but I love him. But I think this season is hard for me, and I think it's been hard for me to admit that this season is hard for me. I'm like, I love my kids, and it's hard. And I think it's so easy to jump from one extreme to the other, and it's often and. It's like, I love them, and this is stinking hard. And you know what, when you're sleep deprived in your 40s, it is not pretty. Okay? Like, there's no bounce back, people. Like, it's just hard. There's no hormones, like post-pregnancy, like keeping you going. Like, there's nothing. It's like, yeah. I mean, and honestly, like, I've had to go back on medication. That's been really hard for me. And I feel like I'm supposed to say that too. And it's been a step to see freedom and healing for me, to just take those things that are going to help me in this process. But part of my story is, and I've done hard. Like I waited, for some people maybe this is a big deal, but for me, like my story, I waited till I was like 30. God didn't bring someone amazing in my life till I was 36. Like, that's a long time, right? To wait to get married, like that's long. In the Christian realm, that's like I don't know what's wrong with you. And I did missions work for like 12 years, and I've traveled to 35 some countries, and I lived in South Africa for 4 years. And there were some super hard things. I mean, I've eaten things you don't even know what they are, you don't ask. I've lived without electricity for months at a time. I'm taking cold showers for 3 months, and like I've done hard, and those things, everyone's done hard, but those things I was like, that should be really hard. But raising kids, little kids, has been like probably one of the hardest things I've done. And it's like, really, God? Like, there's so many, like, that's just my story, and that's what's been hard for me. But here's the thing, so that's enough. I'm done with the gory hard, but that's it. But the truth is, in the middle of this crazy exhaustion, I feel like I've become closer to God than I have in a really long time. And I'm not going to say the whole time, because let me tell you, God hears all my pain, and He hears all my anger. He sees it and knows it anyways, and there's been such freedom for me just to be real with God and to lay it all out. But I found myself, after a couple years of hard and feeling like relief wasn't coming, angry at God a lot. Like, I know I've seen you like heal people literally in front of my eyes in Africa. I've seen crazy stuff, and you can't like do these things. To me, it's like, you can't take care of this. Like, you can't just make my kids sleep. What am I gonna do? Like, I mean, I just, and it's been hard, and I found myself in this place, letting anger get me to a place of my heart being hardened. And I felt like God has just shown me that there's such a peace in letting myself be undone and messy, and opening the blinds to my life and not hiding and letting other people in, that has been so healing and so freeing. And like letting go of like, I don't really care, like even looking at the crowd, like I just shared a lot More than I was planning on sharing tonight, by the way. For reals. But I don't care, because this is where I'm at, and this is my story, and I know God's good. I was even telling Sarah, I was like, oh my God, I went to work today. I told you I was like sweaty because I was like sick, and I was like, I didn't have time to change or like do my hair, do anything. I was like, this is me. Like, I'm just gonna show up like this. I should just kept my sloppy boots on like I had on earlier, because I just felt like it was a representation of this season of my life, and just recognizing that there's freedom in honesty. And so I guess the two things I just want to share with you guys and leave you with is I feel closer to God than I ever have, because I've just let myself let go and not try to control all the outcomes and the circumstances, especially the timing. I think that's been hard for me. I feel like I have a time agenda in my mind with God. Like 2 years is like, that's it, let's go. Like, I mean, there's a limit to things, you know? And I realize it's not my agenda, it's not my timing, and I know that I'm right now in real time where I'm supposed to be. And I know that God is with me in it. And I've also sensed so powerfully the beauty of community. And I kind of pride myself on being someone who is vulnerable and honest. I'm not like, Maggie always makes fun of me, because I think one of the times she heard me talking, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so real. And she came in the middle of a conversation, she's like, did you just say that out loud? And I was like, I did, because it was something I was talking about with a friend. But I feel like I can be pretty honest and vulnerable and share, and often overshare with people, but it's different. You know, I still have control of what I share. I still have control of kind of how I looked and how things were going. And I felt like all that energy left, like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, there's no more bootstraps. I feel like a lot of my coping mechanisms are gone. The things that used to work don't work anymore, because they're not what God wants me to cling to. I feel like a lot of my religious activities and things that are godly and good haven't been doing it for me. It hasn't been giving me what I feel like, what I would expect. And here's where I feel like the pieces come from God, is I found myself forced to run into my Father's lap and just cry and let myself fall apart and be undone. Like, that's why I have peace. Not because I have solutions, not because I have timelines, but because I know my God is good, and I can just be a mess with Him. Mascara running down my face, yoga pants, stomach hanging out. I can just show up. And that's about all I can do. And that's all I've really been able to do in this last season. Is just surrender and just feel like God is like with me. I just feel like God keeps going, Michelle, I just want you to recognize and see that I'm with you. It's all about with, like, just, I'm here and I'm with you. In the good, in the bad, in the ugly. And I've just felt like that's the change, and that's the realness that has brought peace in my heart. And I feel like I've had touches of that where I can like kind of go there a little bit and like let them see a little bit of messy, but like, it's been a whole lot of messy and a whole lot harder and a lot more exposure than I've ever had. And I feel the most peace with my relationship with God than I probably have in like 10 years, which is really incredible. And here's something I put here. Sometimes I write better because I can be really concise. So I'm just gonna read this part. It said, I felt like all I could do was show up and crash with God in utter exhaustion and weakness. And in my place of surrender, I felt God carrying me and holding me and being there just with me. It didn't change my circumstances per se, or it didn't mean that I broke down less often or swore less. It just meant I felt a peace in His presence, and that changes everything. Me acknowledging my real self, the pain and the emptiness of the moment, and letting go of my ideal self with all the shouldas and ought tos, gave me the gift of the moment, and letting myself in real time align with God in His truth and grace in my situation. And this said better than anything else I can say. And the second thing is I just want to touch on is the power of community. Like I said, I tend to feel like someone who can ask for help or can be really vulnerable, but I have, in this hard season, had to reach out more than ever. And I've had to like ask for help. Like, people keep going, how can I help you? I'm like, I don't know, I'll let you know. But have you ever had that when people are like, how can I help you? And you're like, thank you, I don't know. And it's not even that I was like prideful, like I don't want people to help. I just was so exhausted. I was like, I don't even know what to tell you. Just, you can do something and I'd probably be excited and slap me, hug me. I don't know, kiss me. But like, I really didn't know. And I feel like people just came around me and were able to like meet my need when I couldn't even express it. And then there was a point where I had to say, guess what? You know what? I need help. Like, I need someone to bring me meals. Like, I gotta take one thing off my plate. And I just sent a text out, which is like, some people are like, so what? You send a text that people bring you a meal. But it was just part of the process of me acknowledging that I was never meant to go it alone. And I didn't have to have a surgery or just have a baby for people to bring me meals. Like, I could ask my friends who kept asking me all the time what they could do, and I could let them in and let them help me. And I felt like when I was in that place of really opening my blinds to my heart and my home, I felt like there was a deeper connection with the relationships that God put in my life. And it was this realness, recognizing that I know I need community. I think we can all say we need it, but when you're in this desperate place, when you literally find yourself sometimes crying in the fetal position on the ground, see, more than I need to say, it's real when you find yourself in that place and you see people around you that come and support you in that. And I feel like God was big enough to show me and allow that to be part of my story. I felt like people carrying me, and it was humbling and healing and powerful. So I'm just going to read this part here. It said, this is the place I currently find myself, and it feels like it's just the right place for me right now. Messy, undone, humbled, and yet carried by my Savior and the people that God's put around me. I don't know where you guys are at. I don't know what you're burdened about, what you're carrying. I just want to encourage you that isolation is not the answer. I don't know why I keep saying that tonight, but I just want to keep saying that. God knows, and He sees your pain. He sees those ugly, dark places. And He wants to bring healing and truth. And He wants to do it by, I don't care how you get there, just crawl up on His lap and let Him meet you wherever you're at, whatever struggle you're carrying right now. And let others walk beside you and carry you in this process, because it's a powerful thing. And I really hope the next time I'm up here sharing, I have some testimony of more testimony of the faithfulness of God. And I really do know that this season will end, and I know I won't be up here going, oh my gosh, I won't be saying seriously for another 2 years, but I just want to thank you guys for letting me be vulnerable and just share this season of my life, and just hope people know that you're not alone wherever you're at. And if you're in a good place, good. I hope this wasn't a Debbie Downer. This is my story. And but I think it's so easy to package and put on Facebook the things we want people to see, and put on our makeup and show up, and those aren't bad things, but I think there's something powerful about real and honest, because you know what? It's only in the truth of where you are can you align with God and His truth and who He is, and He wants to meet you in that. And that's where His word and His truth and His healing comes. No pretense, no pretend. God meets us in the messy. He suffered and went through everything that we went through. And so He's not surprised. He's not alarmed. He still loves me, even though I swear. And I'm on my church council, don't tell anyone. But, yeah, anyways, there's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Thanks for watching. For more encouragement, head to encouragesquad.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel.